So welcome everyone. So welcome to all the prospective doctoral students that are watching this broadcast and are considering to enroll into the doctoral studies here at the Faculty of Computer Information Science at the University of Ljubljana. So my name is Tomaž Curk and I serve as Vice Dean for Research here at the Faculty. So let's try to answer this first question. So why become a doctoral student at FREE, right? So I think that becoming a doctoral student and then obtaining a doctorate in computer information science is one of the greatest honors and privileges someone might get. During the studies, you not only learn in depth what researchers before you achieved, but you also learn the scientific skills that are needed to discover new knowledge. And of course, you get a chance to invent the future. So doctoral studies are not easy, they are hard. They require your full attention, they require your commitment and perseverance. You know, nature likes to hide, and it's very challenging to uncover the truth. So you need to be sincerely curious about how things and processes work, and you need to be willing to invest a lot of time and effort in your research. So you need to learn a lot and spend a lot of time trying to understand what is already known. And you need to acquire also a critical view of what others did and a critical view of what you propose as a novel discovery. And only then you may discover truly new things and contribute to humanity and return to society. We are really proud of our doctoral students who not only obtained their doctorate, but then they were also able to continue with their careers. And here are some of the names of our past students and their current positions. So from this list, you can see that once you obtain a doctorate at our faculty, all doors are open, right? So you can go to a really renowned university in the States, or at really well-known companies that do cutting-edge research, or you can start your own company, like we have one example here. So at our faculty, so it's a new building. We moved into this building 6 years ago, and the facilities are still modern. Here you'll find all the equipment that you need to conduct research at the highest level. So you'll have access to not only the computational resources, but all sorts of equipment, robots, special sensors, and any sort of research equipment that you need. The research at our faculty is organized in 19 laboratories, and they cover these 6 areas that you see written here. So in these 19 laboratories, there are a number of researchers, and 45 of those are qualified to serve as mentors. So you should really have a good look at the list of mentors that is published on the website, and you should check and find the best fit for your research, because you'll be doing research within one of the laboratories under the supervision of one of the researchers, and you should pick your mentor and supervisor wisely. So a few outcomes of the research that we do at our faculty. So Orange is one example of a data mining program that is being developed at the faculty. And data mining is also one of our flagship activities at the faculty. And here you can see that this software is having quite a big impact on the users, right? So we get a number of 20,000 monthly downloads. We have close to 1.5 million views of our tutorials on YouTube. So it's really, really a powerful software. Another flagship area is computer vision, and here you have the history of this visual object tracking initiative, right, that started in 2013. So at the beginning, before 2013, the area of visual object tracking in the world was quite disorganized. So there were some groups scattered around the world. There was no common methodology. People did not really communicate much. But after this initiative was formed, and this was in part thanks also to the researchers at our faculty, this community grew quite large. So now each year they organize these workshops where they prepare the data sets and methodologies to evaluate the different visual object tracking algorithms. So this is really, really something that we are proud of. Okay, this is all for this first part from my side. Now I would like to ask Danijel Skočaj, the coordinator of our doctoral study programs, to present the doctoral study itself. Danijel?
Yeah, thank you. Welcome, everybody. Yeah, I'll just say a couple of words about our study program, doctoral program. So it differs significantly for everyone that is used to have like this, used to study the first and second cycle of Bologna study. This is something else. It's something different. We don't have such classical exams and courses as is at undergraduate study. It's everything is focused around the research, right? So most of the work done here is actually research, either individual research or in collaboration with the mentor or with the laboratory, and everything that we have at this program should lead to the final goal, which is doctoral dissertation. So as you see here at this scheme here, most of the work is really research, but also most of the courses that we have are tailored in a way that help the student actually working on those research topics that are related to his or her doctoral dissertation. So if I just mention those courses, we have like scientific skills 1 and 2. These are like two courses where the student is familiarized with some scientific skills, such as how to write a paper, about ethical issues, about how to present the research work, how to prepare a poster, for instance, or how to communicate the research work. While in the second, in the scientific skills 2, the students at the end of their doctoral studies learn how to write a project proposal. So the students typically here write their postdoc project proposal, which usually we found to be very, very, very useful. So then we have 5 courses, 5 seminars, seminar 1 to seminar 5, which are actually officially they are courses, but the students here are guided. Actually, they are somehow just report their scientific work. For instance, in seminar 1 and 3, they have to read the related work and to understand the related work. This is something that they have to do anyway, but through this course, they are guided how to do that and when to do that and so on. And similarly, seminar 2 and 4 are intended for presentation of their research work. And seminar 5 is basically, as you call it, pre-defense, when everything is done at the end, before the final submission of the doctoral dissertation, the candidates present their work to the committee. So those seminars are really just an extension of the research, a report. The students actually report about their research work through the years. And as you can see, most of the work really is just pure scientific work, and you'll definitely enjoy that if you are curious, if you would like to pursue something, if you like to find something new. So basically only 4 of the courses, those elective courses, 2 courses in the first year and 2 courses in the second year, are somehow classical courses, similar to those on the first and second Bologna cycle. You can elect those courses from this list that is listed here. Actually, every course is given at every second year, but since you can select those courses in 2 consecutive years, basically everyone can select any course. And we have a number of them, and probably it will even increase in the future. A lot of them are from machine learning and AI area, but we also cover some other areas of interest. And so I'm pretty sure you'll find something that is for you. So also the idea of these courses is to have, I don't know, usually they have some project or something like that, which is aligned to your PhD. So the idea is that also these courses help you on your way towards the doctoral dissertation. So in addition to these courses, you can, two of those courses of 4 courses can even be selected anywhere, in not only at our faculty, but also at other faculties and universities according to the program that we have. So you really have a lot of choices to select 4 of those elective courses. One thing that I would also like to mention is that we strongly support international collaboration. So Tomaž even showed previously like 2 of our examples. How do we like to be integrated into international research community, not only to follow, but also to shape it, to contribute, to really play an important player in at least some of the topics that we cover. And we have a number of collaborating institutions all around the world. So we really encourage our researchers, including, or even more pronounced maybe, our PhD students, to take part in this international collaboration. So we have even internal fund at the faculty to fund the research visit and participation in conferences for young researchers. So we really put a lot of emphasis on this aspect of research, because whatever you do, it should be internationally recognized. So you should influence worldwide, not only in some local area. And that's why this international visibility is crucial. And also, not that only that you will contribute to the world, but also you need to gather all the knowledge from around the world really to excel and to do as much as possible. So as a natural extension of this need or this preference to be internationally involved, we are very open to foreign students. So we like the foreign students to come on our faculty. We also offer them some help to how to deal with that. The entire our program is given in English. So if someone wants to take courses in Slovene, to pass the courses in Slovene, to write the doctoral dissertation in Slovene, this can do as well, of course. But generally, most of the dissertations are written in English to reach wider audience. And we also have invite foreign lecturers to give courses. So we also, not that we only encourage our students to go abroad, but we also attract the foreign researchers to collaborate with us, or also at our faculty. So for the foreign students, just a couple of words about Slovenia, about Ljubljana. Of course, for all the students that come from Slovenia, you are already very familiar with that. But for all the participants, prospective students coming from all around the world, just a couple of words. Slovenia is it's a small country, but it's very nice. It's very vivid. It's very diverse. So we are just in the middle of the Mediterranean Sea and Alps. So almost everybody that comes to our country really loves it, and it's from this point of view, I'm pretty sure you won't be disappointed if you come to Slovenia. Ljubljana, as such, as a capital of Slovenia, is still not a large city, but it's again a vivid city with a lot of students. It's affordable, I would say, in terms of let's say European capitals. The living costs are not so high, so we have a lot of advantages in comparison with many other countries with respect to the quality of life and what we offer here. And also there is quite a number of foreign students, so there are a lot of events for foreign students, a lot of activities and so on. So also from this point of view, I think you will enjoy your stay in Ljubljana. So now I'll take over back to Tomaž to introduce you with some formalities regarding our doctoral program.
Okay, thank you, Danijel. Perfect. So how can you apply to the doctoral program? So the application is online, so you have to use this portal. that is published here. Of course, before enrolling into the doctoral program, you have to finish a master or a pre-Bologna equivalent study program. So the application deadline is June 1st. So before that date, you have to send all the documents for enrollment. But the enrollment itself will happen in September. So that will be also the time for those that are finishing the master studies. So they will obtain the master's degree, and they will then fulfill all even the last requirement to enroll into the doctoral studies. So the application enclosure are listed here. So you need to prepare a good CV where you show that you, let's say, have some experience in the area that you would like to pursue your doctorate. That would be ideal. But you also need to show some independence, some forward thinking, some creativity thinking. So all these things that are required for a successful doctorate. So you should think what you put in your CV. And then, of course, you need copies of the bachelor and master degree certificates. So if you finish the studies at our faculty, we already have those documents. But for people coming from outside our faculty or from abroad, then you'll need to provide these documents. So another thing that is important on this list is the motivation letter, right? So why do you want to enroll into doctoral studies? This letter is primarily intended for you. So when you write this letter, it forces you to think on whether you really want to spend the next 4 years in doing research. You would need 2 recommendation letters. So this would be perhaps your supervisors during the bachelor or master, or some other people that are, let's say, in the area of computer information science, ideally. And you also need to specify the mentor that you would like to have during the doctorate. So again, you should look at the list of the mentors that is on our website, and you should pick your mentor wisely. So if there are any questions, you can always contact the Student Affairs Office. Here's the contact. And the tuition fees are also listed here. So it's 4,200 euros per year for the first and the second year, and 3,000 euros for the third and for the fourth year. What I have to say here is that in the last, I think, 4 years, the government subsidized around 80% of these tuition fees. So the rest you pay either yourself, or if you come to some agreement with the mentor or the laboratory where you will work in, the laboratory may cover the difference from the 80% to the 100%. So ideally, you won't pay the tuition fee. So for those students that are coming abroad, we have an international students office. So here, Vesna can assist you with the online application form. She can help you obtaining the visa and the residence permit, and she can also help you navigate the application to the scholarships for the Slovenian Scholarship Fund. And she also can help you in applying to this JRC call that I'll describe in the next slide. And of course, besides these formalities, the international office can also help you finding an apartment, and can provide some basic information about living in Slovenia and in Ljubljana. So you should use this office. They are really nice and helpful. One important thing is getting paid during your research, because of course you have to somehow earn a living, and ideally you would work as a researcher, right? And here on this faculty webpage, you can find open calls for positions either as a researcher on some projects, or as junior researchers. So this is something that the Slovenian Research Agency funds every year. We usually get 2 or 3 positions per year at our faculty. There is always the possibility that you work as a teaching assistant, which means it can be part-time or it could be full-time, right? And of course, there is always the possibility of getting some scholarship from the Slovenian government. So you should go through this webpage and look for opportunities. How can you combine research on your doctorate with work and that you need to, let's say, obtain a pay so you can live throughout these years of the studies. Of course, combining jobs, it's quite difficult because you have to be aware that the pursuing a doctorate, it's a full-time job in itself, right? So if you have some work that is not related to your doctorate, you'll have 2 jobs, and this could be quite difficult. So you should really look for options, positions as a researcher at our faculty. Okay, and now let's say the last slide of this formal presentation is this joint research center collaboration that we have. So just a few words about the research center. So this is a large European institution that is devoted to research. So they employ over 2,700 researchers. We are collaborating with the JRC unit in Ispra, which is close to Milan. There are 42 researchers divided in 3 groups that cover cybersecurity, transport security, and law enforcement technology. And so this collaboration started 3 years ago. So the idea is that we obtain doctoral students that would be co-supervised by our mentors and mentors from the JRC Ispra unit. And also the students get a chance to spend between 1 and 3 years at the JRC during their studies. So they work as researchers for the European Union Commission. So I think this is a really excellent opportunity for doctoral students, because not only you will get a really good pay, a good salary, but you also will be involved with cutting-edge research that is done at the level of Europe, right, and the world. So the researchers there are top researchers that are doing basic research, and they are also doing application research, because they need to provide the European Commission with pointers and directions and standards for the different strategies and also the different policies that the European Union has to accept, right? And in this sense, we are collaborating in this cybersecurity field. So you get a chance to contribute to what laws will be passed in the future. Okay, so here are the 2 contacts at our faculty. So for those of you that are interested in machine learning for IoT and user profiling and anomaly detection, Veljko Pejović is the person that you should write to. And for those of you who are interested more into machine learning applied for image and biometrical data analysis, Peter Per is the one contact that you should talk to. Okay, so we'll advertise the call for this joint research position, for 2 positions for the next study year, the beginning of next week. So you should pay attention and apply. And now I would like to take the opportunity and call Andras to say a few words about his experience working and researching at the JRC in Ispra. Andras?
Thank you, Tomaž. Well, hi, everyone. My name is Andras. I'm a master's student at the Faculty of Information Computer Science here at Ljubljana. I'm just finishing my studies, so I should be done in about a month. I just returned from the JRC. I was there as a trainee, which is another option that our faculty provides, which is more targeted to master students to collaborate with the JRC on their master thesis. So this is what I applied for and did. I worked on the topic of the IoT, so the first one that Tomaž mentioned. So I mostly did research in machine learning and IoT combined. Okay, I would like to talk about my experience at the JRC ISPRA site. It's when I first arrived there, I was really impressed by the site itself. It says here that there are on the slides there are 42 researchers, but this is only in the cybersecurity unit. So there are more than 1,500 researchers in the JRC ISPRA site at any given moment. And they do a lot of amazing research, and I was really blown away by the size of the whole thing. It has, for example, 2 nuclear reactors in the site which are now being decommissioned. It has a pretty enormous laboratory for structural assessment, which means that what they do, they have a wall. I think it's 60 meters high and 21 meters long. And they attach whole buildings to the wall and shake them. So they can simulate earthquakes, which I was scheduled to see one of those, but sadly I had to return a bit early for the you know what reasons. Another amazing thing, anything you need regarding your research. For example, I don't know, you want to calculate immensely large neural net. You need, I don't know, 50 GPUs. You say to your supervisor, I need 50 GPUs. Usually it's not, if you can reason your budget, you can get mostly anything. It's quite amazing. Okay, so the cybersecurity unit, it's one of the smaller units at the site. The co-workers that I was mostly cooperating with there, really helpful and friendly. Everyone received me as one of their own from the first day I was there. So in that aspect, my experience was really nice. The atmosphere is really good as well, because every Monday the unit has a meeting, and one of the members of the unit presents their work, or if they want to have a brainstorming on current topic they're researching. They have that. When you arrive there, usually you present yourself, so you get to know all of them, and you get to know the topics they're working on, so you can actually monitor a bit what's going on in the European Commission on the policy level. So that was another amazing thing that I got from there. Yeah, the working environment is really relaxed. You have to be there at 9:30 in the morning, so you can schedule your days in however way you see fit. So it's yeah, like I said, it's quite relaxed. Okay, so I spent, let's say, half of my time doing my research and developing my system, which was mostly playing around with Arduinos and developing some machine learning algorithms, and I spent the other half writing a paper on the stuff that I did. The paper was actually an expectation, let's say, an expected result from this collaboration, and it was a really nice thing was that it was also my master thesis. So I was there writing for the paper, and at the same time I was writing my thesis, which is now almost done because of that. Okay. No, I'm not finished. Yeah. I spoke with some students that are there as doctorate students. They had similar experience to mine, so in general, I would say they like it a lot. And I talked actually to some people who stayed beyond the doctoral program. So if you see yourself in a multicultural European environment working on cutting edge research, it's a really nice environment to be in. Okay, and then quickly about ISPRA in general. It's a quiet village. It's next to Lago Maggiore, so it's locked in between this really nice, beautiful, large lake and the mountains. which are beautiful, especially in the winter with the snow. Yeah, it's quite quiet, so you can really focus on your work. So I would say, yeah, if you like that kind of setting, it's really nice. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. My experience was amazing. And yeah, I will definitely apply for the doctorate program.
Okay, good to hear. Good to hear. So it's not only research there, but you can also enjoy the nature.
Exactly,
the mountains.
exactly. I love to ski. I skied a lot because I was there in the winter. JRC has its own ski club, which you can apply and ski with meet people from other units as well. So yeah, you can swim in the summer in the lake.
And Milano is not that far, no?
No, Milano is it's not even an hour drive. I would say
Yeah.
50 minutes taking the autostrada.
Yeah.
So it's quite close. Yeah, if you want to go for the weekend or just for the day, you're more than able to do that. You can even go to Torino on a one-day trip.
Okay, thank you, Andras.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for your contribution. So Andras will stay on also at the end. If there are any questions, you can ask him directly. And now we go to our doctoral students. So now I would call Polona. She is close to finishing her doctorate. So Polona, are you there?
Yes, I am. Hi there.
Okay. Hi. So Polona, can you tell us something about how finishing the doctorate looks like?
Okay, so hi everyone. My name is Polona. And as just Tomaž said, I'm finishing my PhD studies. I'm in the 4th year. And basically, I'm in the phase of writing up my PhD thesis, so I perhaps should talk more about this thing. So in this period, a lot of people actually feel they're kind of a lot of stressed because of writing the PhD thesis is not an easy thing, and it takes a lot of time, and it's exhausting, to be honest. But it's not impossible to finish. It's a lot of work. It's doable. So basically, how to start or to handle with this last process. Well, anyway, writing a PhD thesis should be more or less just wrapping up everything you have done so far. So that means everything which is related to your research. Those are like, I don't know, smaller pieces of work which, I don't know, related to courses, during this program, which the faculty offers. And of course, considering your papers, if you have any, and this is the best thing you can get from the PhD studies, are the papers. It's the knowledge how to write the papers, and of course the papers themselves if you have. Why? Because if you know how to write, let's say, a scientific paper, and which eventually gets accepted, you will be surely able to write a PhD thesis as well. Just like Andras mentioned before, he's writing a paper, and he also almost finished his master work. And I'm doing as well. I'm also writing a paper now and working also PhD thesis as well. So in my opinion, the structure of a PhD is more or less similar to the structure of a scientific paper, except that it contains a lot more information about everything, and of course it's much longer. It's a sort of a giant scientific paper. So for both, you need a good plan. You need a really good structured outline in details, and eventually the supervisor checks it and puts some comments on it, and that's basically it. So luckily, the study program in this faculty, and I mean all the courses that are in the first 2 years mostly, are designed this way that you actually learn how to write a scientific paper and eventually PhD as well. But of course, you have to put some effort in it. It's not an easy job, but it's worth it. Yeah. Okay.
So perhaps one question. So what was and probably still is the role of your mentor? Can you elaborate on this?
Mentioned at the beginning, choose it wisely, because when choosing a supervisor, this is basically the person with whom you will be working at least 3-4 years. So, and in my opinion, besides the topic the supervisor holds, it's the high availability that's important for you and for him as well, because I think it's important that he or she is available over Skype basically all the time or really, really frequently, so you can really rely on him. And if you consider, let's say, during this period of time when you'll be working on your PhD, that's like 3 or 4 years or even more, a variety of unpredicted things can happen. For example, you can go abroad as an exchange student or just to work there. Anyway, in both cases, you want to get some international experiences. Then that can be for a few months or maybe for a year or even longer. And then again, your supervisor can also go abroad as an exchange professor. For example, that happened in my case. I went abroad to work on a project there. I went to Cardiff University in the UK. I've been there a little less than 2 years. It was a really amazing experience. And my supervisor, he went as an exchange professor to Australia. And that's totally the other side of the world, but still we were in the contact. Maybe some people that seems totally something which is, normally, but I heard from other students, all over also from Cardiff University, that not all professors are actually that, available. That's why I'm trying to really consider that this is really important, the availability of your supervisor. And also, if you're a foreign student in Slovenia, you might go home at some point for a while to see your family, and you want to keep in touch with your supervisor. That's why I think that's really important. So yeah.
So were you aware of the importance of the mentor at the very beginning?
To be honest, I wasn't, but my supervisor.
You were just lucky.
Yeah. Maybe I was lucky because my supervisor, he's a really flexible guy, and he really. He travels a lot. He's also more or less always on the Skype, and he doesn't feel. We chatted. I remember about the PhD. It was 5 in the morning. It was the midnight. It was basically any hour during the day. And I think it's important because if he's only available over the email, it's not the same, because if you're abroad, you're missing this personal contact, and it's not the same. It's hard to discuss complex topics like PhDs. And that's why it's important that you choose really supervisor wisely, because eventually you will have a period when you won't discuss with him a month or two, and then you will discuss maybe every day in a week, and to sort things out. And it is important, I think. Yeah.
So one more thing. So you said that you spent close to 2 years abroad, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now that you did this, right? So what do you think? How important is to spend some time abroad during the doctoral studies? Is this a necessary evil, or does it serve any purpose beyond just going abroad?
I think it's very important. I would encourage every student to go abroad because, you must be aware that if you're a researcher, and no matter what kind of research you do, you're not the only one. There are people, there are groups, research groups everywhere in the world which do the same or really similar topic as you do. And there are, research groups that are far bigger than maybe just, 5 or 10 people. And they really develop things. And it's worth going abroad because you actually meet people, you actually meet how they work on things, how they develop things, and they are experts in, let's say, every corner of the world which do similar things. And I think it's important that you go. And if you have a chance, I really encourage people to go. So yeah.
Okay, thank you, Polona. Is there anything else that you would like to add?
No, that's basically the thing. Right. But I'll be available at the end. Yeah.
Okay, great, perfect. Thank you, Polona. So now I'm calling Danijel. He's a first-year doctoral student, and he came to our faculty from industry and from abroad. Right? So, Danijel, how did you find your first year as a doctoral student at our faculty?
So, that's a good question. So, first of all, hi, everyone. I have to say that PhD studies are really something different. So, I have to say that master studies are way more similar to bachelor studies than the PhD is to master studies, because the focus of your doctoral career is to do your research work, so finding your unique contribution to the field. Year one, however, is a bit of an exception, because in year one, if you saw the amount of credits in a previous slide, there are a lot of courses, mandatory courses and elective courses that take up almost half of your workload in the first year. However, it's quite different from being a master's student, because all of these courses are, other than the ones you can choose yourselves, the other ones are very useful to give you the research skills you need. So you're going to learn how to write a paper, at least the basic ideas of how to write a paper, how to study the literature and the related work. So there is a lot of coursework in year one. However, it's not the focus, but you should use the opportunity that the faculty gives you, because they are really useful courses. Like, you're going to need all those skills as you progress with your doctoral career. If you want, you can think about year one of a PhD work as almost meta work. So you're learning how to be a good researcher. Now, you'll start working on your research, but obviously at the end of year one, it's very unlikely that you're going to have already some useful or even final results. So you have to use the opportunity to learn as much as you can how to do good research. If you learn the methodology properly and you put in the effort, the results will very likely come by themselves with your effort, obviously, in the following years. So it is definitely a change of pace and a change of philosophy. But, you know, if you're really into doing research, and if this is something that excites you, I would recommend you give that a try. It's hard work. It's a lot of work. So you have to consider it as a full-time job, definitely. But it is easier if you find the field that you really like. And also, as Polona said, the mentor is really, really important already from year one. So do not underestimate that choice. And other than that, I mean, there's a lot of learning for you to do. But even if you come from abroad, like in my case, and in addition to that, I come from the industry, so I don't come directly from master studies. It can be a bit of a culture shock, if you want, but both the international office and the Students Affairs Office for doctoral students have been super helpful. So you're not going to be left alone. Oh yeah, I should also say the language is not a barrier. Like, so far, I've used English everywhere in my coursework, in my writing, everywhere. If you know some Slovene, it would help you probably get through life a bit more easily, but it's by no means a prerequisite. So don't be afraid if you don't know Slovene as well as you know English. And I would say don't be afraid to reach out. Like, the environment was very helpful, from professors to offices to other colleagues. So, you know, if you get stuck, there's going to be somebody, you know, willing to help you out. So I really can't complain about that.
Okay. Can you perhaps elaborate more on your transition from industry to doctoral studies?
So yeah, I would say I'm still transitioning. It's not something that, so I got my master's degree, and then I went to work in the industry for about 8 years, and then I moved back to academia. So I've seen both worlds. It will take a little bit to get readjusted. Both are exciting fields to work in, especially in cybersecurity, the field that I chose and that I'm working in. The style of work is a bit different. So in the industry, you're more required to get the best solutions, put them together, and give the best possible result to whoever your customer is. In the doctoral studies, the focus is really finding something new. So you have to be very aware of what your colleagues and what your research field has been proposing in the last year. So that's fundamental. But here is really trying to give your own contribution to the world of cybersecurity in this case. So there is a different type of excitement involved in it. Obviously, they come with its own set of challenges. It's not easy to do that. But the process is definitely something that is worth doing despite the efforts. I like both, but I really wanted to try to see if I could build something myself instead of relying to what has already been proposed in the world. And so doctoral studies or a career as a researcher is the best way to see if you can actually produce a unique contribution to the world. And that's what made me interested in giving this a try.
Okay, perfect. Okay, thank you, Danijel.
Sure.
This concludes our today's presentation. So I hope you have learned something useful today and that this information will help you make the right choice. So if you have any questions or need help in the application process, do not hesitate to contact us. So I think that you should make your decision wisely and enroll in our doctoral studies. So one more time, thank you for your attention and stay safe.